Hi, I'm Dan here.
Deanna. Happy Sunday. It is July 12th, 2026, and today we feel called to do a sermon. And the title is Healing the Cult Block Once and for All. Um, so, if I could choose a song to go along with this Sunday service, it would be The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. And that would be my song choice because God has sent me the song The Middle by Jimmy Eat World um, a lot over the past 6.5 years. Um, and that song, God always sends it to me when I'm having like, when I'm feeling troubled or like I'm feeling down about myself and my spiritual path. This song talks about how everyone's journey is unique, and that everything's okay and your journey is perfect for you and there's no shame in anything you're experiencing or going through, and we're all on the way home. All of us are.
Mhm.
So today, for the sermon Healing the Cult Block Once and for All, we're going to be talking about Twin Flames Universe and the Church of Union, and we're going to do our best to heal the cult block once and for all, which might seem like a really big thing. It kind of is, but we're going to hope to heal as much as possible in this sermon. Dan and I have some similar and some differing opinions and takes on this healing, but we want to both share about it. So there's been the Vice article, the Vanity Fair article, ex students have spoken out. There's been the Escaping Twin Flames documentary on Netflix, and then Desperately Seeking Soulmate, Escaping Twin Flames Universe on Amazon Prime. A lot of people are just walking around right now kind of believing and thinking Twin Flames Universe and Church of Union is a cult. And we're going to try to dissolve that to the best of our abilities in this sermon.
And the reason why this is so important for me personally is it has benefited my life so much as someone who has explored spirituality very deeply. I can't even just to give you one small example. I literally recently made more in a week than I did in a year before starting this work. Just take that in for a moment. And I obviously had the love of my life sitting next to me. That's just a couple examples of how this work has radically and in ways I can't even describe on the inside how good I feel. And so I want to help open that path for anybody who wants to improve their life by helping dispel what I think is might be keeping you from exploring this path.
Yeah. So let's do our opening ohms. And now for our opening prayer. Ooh. Can you hear? Oh, I didn't actually pause it.
There we go. That's all right.
It's okay. I am the only child of God, forever part of her. I am created by her in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary where I keep her holy creation sacred. I will only allow in her voice. I will only accept her word.
Today I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to his teachings through his divine channel. I will honor what he has spoken and accept it as his will. I will be obedient to his word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name,
Amen. Okay, so like we said before, the topic of the sermon that we felt really divinely guided to do is healing the cult block once and for all. And my personal theory and philosophy on why so many people become quote unquote haters and start screaming cult, cult, cult and running away is because they have something that is within them that wants to be expressed, such as claiming leadership or power or having a different opinion or viewpoint than others, but they don't know how to do it or express it, or they don't know how to have their dark night of the soul or spiritual awakening within the community. And so they go out because they're like, I don't think I can go through what I'm going through in front of all of you. So I'm going to do it over here away. This is my personal philosophy on this. Um, I think people hit certain parts of their ascension journey and something comes up and they don't know what to do. Sometimes it's easier to call something a cult than claim real power and leadership within the community. Maybe they see something going on in the community that doesn't sit right with them. And instead of calling it out or talking about it and actually becoming a Christ and making change within the community, they take the easy way out, which is calling it a cult. That might seem easier in the moment than standing up for yourself and being a real leader or expressing yourself or making real change. But then you don't really actually get everything that you want from doing that. Um, and I just want to also put a caveat that I can't speak for every single person. They would have to all speak for themselves. I'm giving kind of an overview of my philosophy and kind of what I observe. I think sometimes people hit a point where maybe they lose a family member or they have a huge trauma come up or they change their mind about something really significant. Maybe they want to explore another aspect of their life purpose. Maybe they need to unmask and learn more about their autism. Maybe God's trying to get them to do something really unique and individualistic, but they don't think they're going to be accepted if they go in that direction. And so they just kind of, they're like, oh, it's a cult. um, I think that some people, they need to set boundaries or express themselves in some way and they don't know how to handle it or they don't feel safe and so they just dip. There is a quote from the Gospel of Thomas, and it is, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. What this quote means is that everyone has the Christ light inside of them, awarenesses, wisdom, power, leadership, ideas, vision, even ancient wisdom, past life wisdom. When you hit a point where God is prompting you to do something uncomfortable and new and scary, what you want to do is bring that forward and share it, and then you're going to ascend and claim your power and grow your life and purpose, build trust. But if you keep it within you, it will destroy you and cause you to act out in other ways. And that's when you can start maybe being like, oh, maybe this really is a cult, or like, you know what I mean? Then those ideas can fester because it's just kind of taking the easy way out. Do you have anything to say about that? Otherwise, I can keep going.
Going.
We all want to be heard and express ourselves. We all want to use our voice and have our own platform, our own brand, our own audience, have our own niche, be our own leader. We all, all the people that were called to this teaching early on are super leaders and they have their own unique following and their own unique style of teaching. Um, we can do that, but still interact with and support each other and do this together. So I want to give an example. I love Justin Bieber. Do you love Justin Bieber?
Oh, you know I do.
I love Justin Bieber. I study Justin Bieber. I study people that I love. Um, so I'm going to talk about Justin Bieber. So Justin Bieber, if you don't know this, he's been claiming his Christhood in the music industry for a long time. He openly talks about what he would change in the music industry based on his experience growing up in it. He said in an interview with Billboard, um, this is his quote: "I'm not speaking as a victim still bleeding. I'm speaking as someone restored. I don't want revenge. I want redemption. I'm not a product. I'm not what the industry demanded. I'm a son." So he clarifies that he doesn't want to burn the music industry down. He wants to see it made new, safer, more honest, and more human. And that. I can link that Billboard.com article in the description. So Justin talks about this all the time, about how he doesn't want to leave the music industry because he's a musician. If you're a musician, you don't leave the music industry, you revolutionize it, you transform it. And same thing with spiritual teachers. Spirituality and religion and church, it's an industry. It's an industry. And if you're a spiritual teacher, you don't need to leave the Church of Union to grow in your power and grow in your brand and grow in your self expression and your identity. You can do that within Church of Union because we're all better together. Um, and so all industries on this planet need purification and change, constant development and leadership. And if you have ideas and if you see things a certain way and you want to do things your way, it's because that's your unique individuality coming out as a spiritual teacher and as a Christ. So, what you want to do when you feel like you want to change something is be the change maker. And you don't have to fuck off and you don't have to do it alone and you don't have to hide from your own brilliance and not share it. um, just be honest about, be like Justin Bieber. Look at him. He's very open about his observations about the music industry. He's openly critical of people and places and things that aren't perfectly loving. He's a Christ. He's a leader. He has no qualms about this, actually. And so just be like that.
One thing to distinguish here, of course, of the music industry, there's not a lot outside of the music industry. Now, when it comes to religion, there are tons of options. So, yes, like the key is find what resonates, aligns with you. Okay, go ahead.
But unionism encompasses all religions and faiths.
Yes, and many viewers might not know that. What you really want to find is, does this system really work for people? Does this system produce fruit, like I said in the reading? And as I mentioned in the reading, like nothing has even come close to producing the amount of fruit, which is the good effects in every area of my life that unionism has. As someone who's explored every path, this path has blown open my life in the most positive and transformative ways. And so that's the first basis you want to look at. Does this produce good for people? Because I'm not even just referring to me, I'm referring to hundreds of people that have been like their lives transformed in positive ways. So that's the first thing you want to look at is what comes out of this. Is it good? And the fruit, I can tell you, is very good. As I mentioned in my in our reading, I literally just recently made in a week what I made in a year when I joined the community. Like that's wild. I have the love of my life next to me. But
I
most,
do want to take a little bit of credit for that. Um,
well, I mean,
I've
that's,
been really helping nurture Dan
but we're both
in his
right.
career.
We're both applying the teachings of union in doing so.
Um,
At the end of the day, it comes down to us adhering to God and the teachings of union to manifest these goods. Of course, we're doing it in our own unique way, but I give full credit to the teachings of union for showing me the way. I could not have done this without that, just point blank. So even the fact that, like, of course, Deanna has been a huge support for me and a huge, like, obviously your twin flame is an amazing support, and Deanna has been huge support on my journey to happiness and financial wealth. But I can guarantee I would not even know who this person is without the teachings of union. And this relationship has been the best of my whole life. That's what your twin flame is. So
Same, you're the best partner I've ever had.
and we wouldn't have ever known each other, who knows how long it would have taken, how many lifetimes without the support of the church. And it's not just our story, it's so many stories. So I just wanted to start there, and really, if you go to twinflamesuniverse.com and look at the twin flames and the students feedback, you'll see like the fruit is very, very good. And that's the first place to start, I would say, is you want to look at the fruit of anything to decide. There's actually a biblical phrase that you will know anything by its fruit. So anything that is like not of God or negative, which, the negative definition of a cult is that it's, abusive, coercive, those kind of things. It can't produce such amazing fruit then. But to go deeper, since of course our objective is to heal this once and for all, I have actually pulled out the definition because we have to kind of get, a little nitty gritty if we're going to get to the truth. Is this a good time to kind of go into that, you think? Or
Yeah.
okay. So Merriam-Webster says a cult, and this is, the kind of negative definition, is a group such as a religious sect with tenets and practices regarded as coercive, insular, or dangerous. And so, and then it kind of breaks it down into these subcategories that I want to discuss line by line because you want to get very clear here. First one, of course, is a sense of authoritarian leadership where there's a top figure who wants to be obeyed without question. And so, very simply, what I want to say about that is Jeff and Shalia always point people back to God. And they're actually very specific about saying, we are not God. We want to teach you to have your own personal relationship with God. And so their desire, and they've even said, we are innovators. We're not developers. Their desire is to cultivate strong leaders and cultivate people that have their own unique, powerful connection with God so that they can lead in their own unique way without any assistance from Jeff and Shalia directly. So,
And if you start treating Jeff and Shalia like they are God, then people are very sensitive and tuned in. And if you start treating Jeff and Shalia like God and trying to make them God, that also leads people to say, oh, it's a cult. Look, you're all just waiting for them to tell you what to do next. So don't do that.
that's not
Just don't do that.
Yeah, the whole point of the teaching is to restore your relationship with God. God is the authority. That is the authority you want to listen to because God is love. God's will is good. So they help you have that relationship at the center so that you can live a completely unique and autonomous life with God. That is the vision. So that completely, kind of negates that whole idea that, you know, there's no one on top seeking obedience. We want obedience to God and a personal relationship. So that's the first thing I want to clarify. The next thing is excessive control. There's this idea of excessive control. Now, actually, the Church of Union specifically teaches that control is not of God, that control is an expression of lack of trust in the divine. So they actually teach to surrender, to, and once again, it always goes back to God, to get in tune with God and in His will, and that nobody ultimately can control you. I mean, we're talking about a group that is internet based, and so this idea of control is not even
It's not completely
possible.
internet based anymore.
I mean, it isn't, but it's, there's nothing in it that is control based. It's all invitational. It's in fact invitational or earned. You earn respect, you earn positions, and you accept them. But they don't want anybody to do. The whole point of the community is to increase joy and love and peace on the planet. So they would never want you to accept something in your reality unless it brings you joy, peace, and love. And so control is this idea that, like, I'm going to control you into doing something you don't want to do. No, the church invites you to things that will expand your joy, expand your
And
peace.
if you feel like they're controlling you, don't let yourself be controlled, because all of us are working through control on some level, because this is a very new teaching and we've all had a lot of past lifetimes on this planet. Um, except for Jeff and Shirley and Grace, they came straight from heaven. But the rest of us have been working through control issues for lifetimes. And each of us has our own way of trying to control. And so, since we're all working through control on some level, if you feel like someone's controlling you, just say, "Hey, I feel like you're controlling me," and just like have that, just express that. Um, you're kind of. I feel like.
Conclude. So yeah, essentially, the whole desire is for you to live a joyful life. So control is the sense of you being forced to do something you don't want to do, which nobody can make you do that, first of all. And just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Because that's not the point. The point of the teaching is to experience the highest joy, peace, and happiness you can.
Yes. Claim your power. If you have something you need to say it. Speak the truth, even if your voice shakes. Make the community your own. Make Church of Union a safe and better place for your family, friends, and anyone you meet along your life. Everyone who joins Church of Union should be helping to change it and make it a better place for all. So just make your mark. Speak up if something doesn't sit right with you. See something, say something. It's so much easier to call Jeff and Shirley the Antichrist than to claim your power and grow in your Christhood. Christhood can be extremely uncomfortable. If you get advice or guidance from someone in Church of Union and it doesn't sit right with you, don't do it. There's a famous quote that is thought to have been spoken by the Buddha, and it's believe nothing, no matter where you read it or who has said it, no matter if I have said it, unless it agrees with your own reason and your own common sense.
That's correct. Beautiful. So the next big thing is suppression of dissent. Now, so this is something where people think like, oh, if you dissent in the community, you're out, kind of idea. And that's not the truth. We've actually seen people who, it was actually the people who spoke up. When they speak up from their heart and their authentic truth, they're actually deeply honored and respected in the community.
But if that's not going on, once again, say something. We all have to tend to the community.
So I think what people get upset about is it's not that there's suppression of dissent, but there is lack of tolerance for hatred or manipulation, those kind of things. So sometimes if people are doing things with an intent, even if it's subconscious or unconscious, to harm, there is discipline. But anything done from love, because the community is based in love, and it's safe to have boundaries. So they are perfectly fine with people dissenting. In fact, you see these classes where Jeff absolutely loves the students who ask the difficult questions, who say the things that nobody wants to say. He thinks it's the best because it takes a lot of courage to do that. And that kind of courage is supported.
But if you see it not being supported, speak up. We all have to tend to the community. Don't be lazy in the community. stand up for your gut feelings and make sure that the community is staying in alignment with those core values.
Well, that's with any space you're in. You want to make sure to do
Any
that.
space you're
But
in.
especially like the church wants you to be as happy as possible. And they say like you need to claim it. You need to choose your happiness, and you need to speak up if something isn't serving your happiness. So if you're really applying the teaching correctly, you will empower yourself to speak up for your needs, speak up for your truth, and provide for yourself, because that's what the teaching really is about.
Um,
Next one, us versus them thinking. I just want to keep this very simple. It's the Church of Union. It's about oneness. It's the understanding that every child is a child of God. And they encourage you to develop as many loving and healthy relationships as possible. There's no understanding of an us versus them. We're all children of God.
and once again, if you're encouraged to do something like end a relationship and God is telling you otherwise, just speak up for what God is telling you. You have to protect your personal relationship with God. And if you don't do that, you're going to build up resentment. And then if you build up enough resentment for a long enough period of time and you don't speak up and you don't correct people who are wrong and you don't um, let yourself be a Christ, you might end up vibing out just because you don't know how to be in the community because you don't um, you're not claiming that Christhood. You're not being honest. You're not speaking your mind. You're not setting boundaries. Um, in the class Twin Flame Ascension School Sunday 7, number 64, Where to Find Love When It's Hiding, Jeff and Shalia talk about setting boundaries with each other and how good it feels. It's safe to set boundaries with other people and call things out that feel wrong. That makes you unique. And once again, it makes you a Christ.
Mhm. Right. So this understanding that boundaries are safe. That's not creating an us versus them. It's still understanding that you're a child of God, and I respect that, but I need to respect myself and my needs, and I'm setting this boundary to do that. So boundaries are a healthy part of, as we know, from any system and any relationship. So it's not about making anybody a bad guy. It's about protecting your peace, happiness, and well being, which is essential in any space that you're in. So the next one is isolation. So, this idea that cult creates isolation. And that's simply not been my experience. So, isolation is this idea of wanting to separate from the world, but the mission of unionism is to teach you how to shine your light, teach you how to be a huge Christ light, and that actually teach you how to be a magnet for sharing your good. So the goal is quite different, and it's actually I've had the best relationships of my life since pursuing this teaching. It's not really about the number of relationships; it's about how healthy, loving, supportive are your relationships. And it doesn't even matter if you just have one and you had none before or something. Just as an example, that's what they want to cultivate is a life and a world full of love. And the last thing they would ever teach is isolation.
But if somebody says something and it doesn't sit right with you, you don't have to follow their advice. Stick up for yourself and say, I don't want to end that relationship. Actually, I've done healing work and I'm like, this is what I want to do. This is my path. Just be honest and claim your Christ. I can't say that enough. You either call it a cult or you claim your Christhood. That's my opinion. That's my opinion of what's happening.
So we are going to continue part 2 very shortly in the next video. Thank you for watching.